Hey there, this is Freddy. You all guys are welcome to this audio podcast. Well, today in this audio podcast, I'd like to share with you some of the important tips which is important to improve your English communications. So you all guys have some kind of misunderstanding that you all people think that what should we do to improve our English? Well, I'd like to share some of the important traits and the tasks that you can do and you can add on in your day routine so that you can make your English communication so interesting and attractive. Well, first of all, I'd like to share one thing that think about what should we require to improve our language. If we talk about English, it's a language. So when I really meet people, they really don't know about what is the right way to communicate and try to learn spoken English. I was surprised that all one have the same thing in their mind. People feel that for learning language, we need only vocabulary. Yeah, I do agree that you require vocabulary, that's very important. But what about the rest of the part, your translations part? I've met many professionals, graduates, postgraduates, they all have simple doubts. So we know about everything. We know about the grammar, we have gone through with the grammar study, we have done a lot of times about translations and all. But what is the reason that we really don't have kind of confidence to communicate in front of anyone, whether we're talking about professionally or unprofessionally, when you are having a formal communication or informal communications? So, I'll tell you one thing that think about when you were a kid, when we are talking about any mother tongue. Whether if I would say the question arises, how do we learn about Hindi? We have too many kids around us. We know that the kids are growing. The baby, when he was born in the family, we never give him a vocabulary notebook. We never give him a kind of translations notebook. We never teach him anything about the language. But have you ever thought that what exactly happened with that kid who is growing and up to his 2 years age, he starts speaking that mother tongue that he belongs to? Around him, the people are talking, whether we talk about Punjabi or Gadwali or any mother tongue, especially about Hindi. There was nobody who could tell us about Hindi. There was some kind of, consonants and, a kind of articles, vowels and all that. But I would tell you one thing. There was a people, those who learned language through the environment. So exact thing is, you guys have to understand, before learning this language, English, you guys have to understand that if you want to know and you are excited to learn a language, English communications, you want to improve your professional way of communicating people. First, try to understand one thing, that language requires only environment. When you are performing some everyday kind of conversational practice, you guys can listen, can talk about that thing. Well, I would say one thing, for learning the language, we require reading, writing, listening, and speaking. No doubt, we have been performing the task reading and writing since our childhood. When we were sent to the school, and the school, we guys had too many reading and writing policies. But have you ever thought that despite of studying in CBSE or English medium school, we guys just gone through kind of a lot of practices which really encourage us to read and write. But there's nobody who could tell about, you guys have to listen a lot. Yes, we know. No doubt, we listen a lot of things which just relate to our syllabus. We can talk about syllabus subjects. If you are from medical background, you can talk about some definitions and all that many times. But what happens when we are talking about the general conversations? We guys feel a bit of hesitate, lack of vocabulary. And I meet regularly people, those who say, and they have a single doubt. So we know everything, we can understand everything, but we cannot communicate. Reason behind, we don't perform the task of listening and speaking. So the important part is when you start listening regularly, you would try to capture the word's vocabulary and try to hold that word meanings for the long time. So I would say there is important and interesting, tips that will help you improving your language. It's listening. When you start listening, language, because if I would say when the kids were there in the family, the first task that a kid try to do is in listening. He start listening you around that kid is only the particular language people they speak. That's why the boy, the kid, they start speaking language. So I would say, well, listening will give you the task that would be really interesting. So I would say, well, this is the right thing as I have started the podcast series. So this is my first podcast I'm going to introduce to all my students, because I have got requests from the students that please make some audio podcast so that we can listen that audio podcast, which can really improve our communications. So here we go. What really exactly happened when you want to learn speaking? We can divide the learning language in two parts. The first one is about your basics learning, where you can just go through about learning kind of basic translations, tenses, modals, structures, advanced structures of learning language, which is important for your translations. Basically, when you will divide the course in two parts. First is your translations part, where you can improve your confidence about translations and all, making your good vocabulary. So the basic translations, grammar, and vocabulary is essential. But you don't know about grammars and all. You don't know about the structures of the word. You don't know about kind of basic things which is required to improve and translate the words, translate sentences regularly. You cannot be confident about communications. So I do recommend that, don't forget, we cannot avoid the importance of grammar. We must go and try to work for that, firstly. So the first part is your grammar translations, where you are improving your grammar translations, vocabulary regularly. Second one is you must try the important part, which is speaking. Most of the people usually say, so I do listen regularly, but I don't have regularly the communicating hours. I don't have anybody to whom I can talk. So I would just recommend, try to make your hours. Try to make your hours with you. When you have your friend, when you are your friend, you can start talking to yourself. Don't worry. If you have people who can talk with you every day, it's really important. It's really interesting. You can go and try to have some conversational practice with them and make the things. But I would say one thing, if you want to make this sequentially, you want to learn language sequentially. So the next step is about, learning and going to be a part, a good participant in GD group discussion. It's important. So most of the institutions, academies also claim that we will make you speaking English well and fluently. They do have one task which is important and most popularly. This is worldwide. People try to say, well, if you want to know what exactly happens when you are learning language, it's all about group discussion. When you are being a part of any group discussion, there is a particular topic, you guys will listen to that topic and try to get that in touch about. It's all about debate. It's all about chat shows. You have to be a part of a role plays, kind of talk shows are there. And I would say the newly interesting trick is a table topics. A trick which is like a picture compositions. I would say when you are, having a picture in front of you, you guys have to just think about that picture and elaborate with your own story. You can make some stories and all that. So these kind of practice you can perform regularly. Yes, I can understand. You guys have a question in your mind where we can do this practice. No worry. Nowadays, we all have too many, online apps where you can go and try to approach. Otherwise, I'm there. My academy is planning to start a new series of learning spoken English for you all. No worry. You can call me and tell me what's your problem. From there, we can start and make you speak English perfectly, communicate. That's very important. So one thing I would say that the basic part is all about learning and making a very good confidence about your translation. Second one is being part of your conversational practice. Every day when you are listening people, every day when you are going to be an active participant, you are participating and try to do some of, oral practices, whether we talk about open discussion, chat shows, role plays, and kind of things that you can perform regularly. Yeah, no, we have an activity which is jumble words. Jumble words activity will make you clear one thing and you are improving and try to have some kind of accents and all that. Well, I will introduce one important thing, which is correspondence. When you are going to make, a role plays an activity where you are performing a task which is important, is all about corresponding. Corresponding is like, one buddy is there, is playing the role like a news reporter, or somebody is like differently and having a kind of things which is important. So, well, this is the right thing that I wanted to share with you. And I hope that you guys got some good of some of the good thing, which is really important to learn speaking. So if I would just, conclude that podcast is out there. in this podcast, I tried to make it clear one thing, that if you want to know about how to improve English, that you guys have to understand that make your things very well. Means you just try to improve your translation part, and then you have to be active listener, active speaker when you're listening people and try to talk and communicate every day. Yes, we do just try to perform some kind of entertaining activities. Nowadays, we all have too many things. We can go and watch web series, English web series. Watching movies will also help you to improve your communications. There you can understand the rightly pronounced words, because most of the time people easily say, we can read the word, but we don't know the exact pronunciation. Is it right or wrong? So I would say that listening podcasts, listening activities will make you clear one thing, that you can improve your communications well. You can improve your pronunciation. Right pronunciation, always the right communications. It will really impress a person. So overall, that was enough for me for this particular podcast. Well, as I have decided today, I would just try to share with you an important tips. These are the tips that you can make to improve your communications. And one thing I will, that if this one will work, this podcast will be helpful for you, it would be good for me. And I hope that I will be coming with a new podcast in upcoming future. So thank you for listening to this podcast. And if you find any problem in your communication, you can call me, which is my number 9871071753. This is my number. You can save this number and try to contact me anytime. If you want any problem in your communications, improving your business communications, if you find any problem improving your normal communications, you want to know about that. What should I do to improve my interview sessions? So my academy will prepare you perfectly to crack any interview, going for interviews with that. So thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you guys got something interesting and, important facts, which is important to your English. And do connect with me. Thank you for listening me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you. We will come again with a new podcast, having some important things with you. Thank you.